Hi, and welcome to Jules Voto's Photo Focus. The focus in this video is on number one, answering a question that was posed in the comment section of one of my videos. And that question was, what black and white film and also what color film do I primarily shoot? The second part of this video will be on just a comparison of digital and film. Okay, so to answer the question, um, I honestly don't shoot much film anymore. I have a lot of film cameras. You could say I'm a collector. When I do, however, usually I shoot black and white primarily. And the black and white film I choose is Ilford HP5 Plus, which I either have the lab scan or I process the film myself and digitize it using the Nikon digitizer, which attaches to the front of the 60 millimeter macro lens and allows you to use your camera to convert those negatives or slides to digital. As far as color, it's rare that I will shoot film, color film, and there's no particular one. However, when I was shooting a lot of film, when I was shooting weddings, I always used Kodak Portra 100 or 400, but that was medium format primarily, 120, 2¼ square negative. I used a square format camera that produced a 2¼ square negative. And if I shot black and white, again, it was usually Tri-X, and it was usually Tri-X back in the day when I shot a lot of black and white film. Why did I choose Ilford now? If film got very expensive, Ilford's a little cheaper, so I don't necessarily think it's better than the Kodak film. I guess it does have a little bit of a different look. I think that look would be more obvious if you were printing on traditional black and white paper, using an enlarger. So, but now to get to the second part of this video, why would you shoot film? Why wouldn't you shoot digital? And film, digital, once you own the camera, it doesn't really cost you anything, right? You can shoot all the images you want, download them to your computer. It takes time, though, and that's the thing with digital. You're going to spend a lot of time. With film, if you're shooting film and having a lab process it, well, basically, once you're shooting, you're done. You send the film off to the lab. They either return you scans or prints. So that makes it less labor intensive. Okay, you're not, because I know I spend a lot of time, I'm sure most of you who shoot digital, you spend a lot of time editing to get rid of the bad ones, trying to narrow it down to the best ones. And then, of course, in Photoshop or some other photo retouching software, you're going to play around with those images quite a bit. Another thing with film, it forces you to take your time. Again, film comes in 35 millimeter film comes in 24 or 36 exposure rolls, and that's it. Then you have to reload. With digital, you could shoot hundreds, even possibly thousands of images before you have to change cards. So I think it really does force you to slow down. I think most photographers shooting digital kind of take the shotgun approach, take a bunch of shots. I know I do, and I try not to do that. So shooting film from time to time kind of just forces you to slow down and really think before you press the shutter release. Another thing I like about shooting film, and this applies to the older film cameras, the mechanical film cameras, the ones that only require a battery for the meter, is you don't have to worry about running out of battery power and carrying extra batteries with you. I like to shoot with a Nikon F2 and with a Photomic head, usually the F2AS. And that battery lasts a long time for that meter. But if that battery did die, it doesn't stop me from shooting because it's an all-mechanical camera, extremely reliable. Also, if you're just getting started in photography, um, you could pick up a film camera fairly cheap. I mean, there are some bodies available for 50 to 100,000. You get a really good camera. Also, the manual focus, the vintage manual focus lenses that fit these bodies are much less expensive than today's modern mirrorless or even for the autofocus lenses for DSLRs. I think when we shoot digital, we have a tendency to review those images right away, and sometimes you'll miss a shot. So I think in certain situations, it's an advantage not to have the rear LCD to check your images after they're shot. Uh, Also, another thing, digital has more latitude to underexposure, but film has more latitude to overexposure. If you've ever heavily overexposed a digital image, you know it's pretty hard to bring back the highlights. Um, but with film, um, it's much easier. They're more tolerant to overexposure. Another thing, you don't require a computer. Um, Negatives also will last, if properly stored, will last a lifetime and beyond. Uh, Digital images, if computers change, if methods of storage change, 10, 20, 30 years from now, will you still be able to access those images? Probably, but there's no guarantee. Also, another thing with manual focus, vintage manual focus lenses, they can be used on the modern digital cameras, especially on the mirrorless cameras. Most vintage manual focus lenses can be adapted to most mirrorless cameras. So if you start out with film, you can hang on to your lenses when you switch it over to a mirrorless camera. Another thing, there's some intangibles, I guess. Just it's kind of, I don't know. I just like picking up my Nikon F2 from time to time and loading a roll of film and going out, thinking I'm one of the great photojournalists or just shooting, or Ansel Adams, for example. Um, and it's also, they're just so beautifully made. And I don't know, I guess I could compare it to maybe driving a classic car, an old Corvette or Ferrari, whatever the case may be. But yeah, the modern car is safer. It gets much better gas mileage. It has so many more features, electronic features, GPS and so forth. But there's something about that old classic car, the beauty of it, and just kind of brings you back to the old days. And I think the same thing happens if shooting film in a classic camera. Now, there are certain situations where I feel digital is much better than using an old manual focus film camera. Most types of action, sporting events, even, little league or high school football, whatever, a digital camera is going to give you, because of the autofocus, because of the number of frames you're able to shoot, it's going to give you better results. Portraits, in some cases, because of which many mirrorless cameras have, the eye focus, where it will focus right on the person's eye, it makes using high-speed portrait lenses much easier. It's very difficult using a 1.2 or a 1.4 lens, or even a 1.8, to get accurate focus on someone's eye. If they move just a little bit, it throws the focus off. You have to refocus if you move just a little bit. So a digital camera with continuous autofocus is going to return some better results. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you didn't, I'd like to know that too. So please leave a comment in the comments below. I publish a new video every Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. So stay tuned for another video. Thanks for watching.